Okay, are we ready? I am calling the meeting to order of the West Sacramento Area Flood Control Agency. This is a special meeting, August 21st. Let's start with the agenda. General Administration Part 1. First item are presentations by the public on matters not on the agenda within jurisdiction of the agency. Do we have any requests to speak?
We have no comments.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And we will move to item 1B, monthly year-to-date revenue and expenses.
Good morning, members of the board and staff members. I'll be reporting out on the revenue and expenditures for the month of June 2025. In Fund 870, the beginning balance was approximately $14.5 million. The agency received less than $500 from investment pool earnings. Expenses were a little shy of $3 million, and half of that went to our bond payments, and a little bit toward our premiums for our liability insurance that hit due. And so the position at the end of the month for Fund 870 was $11.5 million. In Fund 871, the beginning balance was $24.2 million. The agency received no revenue and expenses were $298,000, making the cash position for 871 at $23.9 million. The year-to-date cash position for Funds 870, 871, and 257 was $58.3 million at the end of June, and as of August 11th is still at the same position at $58.3 million. So DWR did approve our second package for the LPA reimbursement, and those invoices totaled $1.02 million. Staff is currently processing to pay the Corp's fiscal year 24-25 5% cash payment, and that is about $3.82 million. And so I'll be processing that next week.
Wonderful.
And hopefully finance will be closing out fiscal year 24-25 book pretty soon in this month, in August. Okay, soon. Okay, finance will be closing out the book soon. And with that, I have nothing else to report. Do you have any questions for me?
I don't have any questions. No. Great on the DWR reimbursement. Thank you. We have 3 items on the consent agenda on Part 2. Item 2, consideration of Resolution 250801, authorizing the conveyance of levee and flowage easements over the Southport setback levee and mitigation areas. Consideration of Resolution 250802, amending the administrative and operations budget and approval of the professional services contract with Van Hook and Associates for the Federal Advocacy and Government Relations Consulting Services. And 4, consideration of approval of the June 26, 2005 special meeting minutes. Before I ask for a motion, I have a couple questions on 3. Can we discuss that quickly?
Absolutely.
Can you give me the history with Van Hook and Associates? Is this a new firm? Because this is not who the city is using.
That's correct. Neither, they're not a new firm. They've been around for a number of years. As you recall, or I think I wrote in the report, Mike Strawn was our federal consulting and advocacy consultant for a number of years, but he retired in June. Staff put together an RFQ. We received 2 responses. One of them was from Van Scoyoc. When I was back in DC for the National Waterways Conference, I met with Van Scoyoc as well as with Julie Ufner, who also serves a number of flood agencies in the region, just to kind of talk to them and encourage, let them know that I would be going out to RFQ. So Van Scoyoc did respond, and looking over their qualifications and their abilities. They're also the consultant to another flood agency in San Joaquin. I felt that our team actually reviewed the applications, and they scored the highest, and I think that they would serve the agency very well.
Wonderful. And then will they have any coordination or collaboration with the city's federal agency, federal lobbyists?
When necessary.
Okay.
When necessary. I think that they have a little bit more, they have a lot more experience in water resources overall. They're active in the National Waterways group, and so there will be some coordination. And I've also talked to them about us trying to set up some video conference opportunity so that you guys get a chance to meet them and talk to them and hopefully get some sage advice when the time comes to return back to DC for lobbying.
I feel like I just gave you a softball because I was going to ask next trip to DC if it would make sense
Yes,
for Trustee Call and I to
Absolutely.
not even together, but
Yes.
sit down and chat with.
that's right.
That would be wonderful. Okay, those are my 3 questions. Trustee
Together.
Call, do you have any questions?
I was going to say, together would be fine.
Okay, great. And so can I please get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
And then I will second that. We are all in favor of it. Motion for it.
Aye.
Aye. Wonderful. And then moving on to our regular agenda, 5A, scheduling future meeting dates and times.
Yes, so we placed this on the agenda. As you know, today is a special meeting because it's been advertised over the years as starting at 9:30. So we've held a special meeting today to have it at 9 o'clock. If it is the board's desire to maintain this schedule, then we can do so. We just have to make it official. So if you'd like to have a regular 9 a.m. starting time, that's why this is on the agenda today. So I would need your concurrence to that, and then we would take the necessary actions to make that happen for the rest of the year.
9 o'clock. 9 o'clock works great for me.
So though I can handle a 9 o'clock start meeting. The problem is going to happen when we have closed session. And
Okay.
so let me think about this for a second. We don't have closed session has not been happening very often.
What we can do, since we don't have closed sessions very often, is if you choose to set a 9 o'clock regular meeting, in those cases where we have a closed session, we could simply set the closed session for 9, set a special meeting for 9:30 or 10, depending on the length we expect the closed session.
Would you be comfortable?
That would be
I'm happy with
was
that.
great.
Love this problem solving. This is an action item, so we need a motion for this, correct?
That's,
Okay, I'll
please,
move.
And then I will second it. And then do we need to state that motion again more clearly? Or are we comfortable with that conversation?
The motion is to adopt a regular meeting schedule of the 3rd Thursday of the month at 9 a.m.
Thank you so much. And Trustee Alcala moved and I seconded. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Great. And let's move to item 5B, JPA amendment and future board composition discussion.
yes, good morning. As you know, last night, the City Council did approve the amendments to the Joint Powers Agreement. There was a certain discussion we had some discussion about the nomination process and the seating of a 3rd board member. I think that got clarified last night. I placed this on the agenda just in case there was additional questions or discussion that you may want to have. If not, that's fine. Blake will be taking the same item to the Reclamation Board in September, and then I will return to you that morning after that meeting to talk about the next step in that process. So I just put it on here just in the case you wanted to have any conversation about it.
Thank you for that. This probably is a good opportunity because we have the option of appointing a city council member, an RD 900 board member, or a West Sacramento resident. Does staff have any preference on the governance structure at this point?
We don't have a strong preference. Our preference is really to fulfill the 3-member board, first and foremost. This can be looked at from time to time, year over year, to see if it's still meeting the objectives of the agency.
If we were to appoint a member of the public, would we go out to applications?
Thank you. That's what I was going to
We
ask.
call it applications,
Yes.
correct? Request applications?
Yeah,
for
so
appointment?
what I'd spoken with the city attorney was, could we do a similar process as they do for the planning commission or some of the other commissions, right? So that we would have an application process. There would be an opportunity for the city council and perhaps also the reclamation board to look through the applications and make nominations. Then that would be presented to you, which would vote on a particular nomination.
Trustee Alcala, what are your thoughts?
I think that's an excellent idea, and I like the idea that you actually going to thin out the pool for us and then give us an option. Great.
I'm comfortable with going out to application. I don't know why I'm having such a problem with the process, with applications, and then for us to then discuss and make an appointment.
If that's your desire, that's what we'll do.
And I have not been asking if there's anybody here who'd like to speak on any of these items, and so I am so sorry I'm not doing my job as the chair. I apologize. Would anybody have any comment on item 5B? No? Okay, moving on. Number 5C, Wsafca project updates.
Thank you, Chairperson Sapizio. So a couple of things. In terms of Southport, Bender Rosenthal is our right-of-way consultant. They've delivered 5 or 6 reappraisals for some of the Southport properties that were purchased. The reappraisals are necessary for federal crediting purposes. So that process is underway. This is just part of the, just letting you know that that happened. As you may know, there was a changing of the guard at the Army Corps District Office here in Sacramento. The new Colonel McTeague, and Brigadier General Lloyd from the San Francisco District will be touring projects on both sides of the Sacramento River on September 3rd. They will visit the Sacramento Weir and the Southport setback levee and mitigation area later in the afternoon on their tour. That's all I have for Southport. Projects in design. The Yola Bypass South Levee, some additional work, specifically rock placement, will be done on the waterside slope of the Yola Bypass Levee in preparation for the upcoming winter. As part of this project, a PG&E pole had to be removed from the landside slope of the levee. That power pole serves a pump station in the Yola Bypass for the Dick Fazio Wildlife Area. Pole relocation is necessary, and as non-federal sponsors, Wsafca and the state are responsible for the real estate and utility relocations. This week, we received an invoice from PG&E for that relocation. The sum for that relocation is $85,000. That's beyond the general manager's signing authority, so I'll be returning to you next month for appropriation for that particular item. In terms of the Sacramento River North Levee, this is from the Sacramento Weir all the way to Stone Lock. One segment that we're working on that the Corps is actively designing is from the I Street Bridge to the northern boundary of the Indian Heritage Center. We just received our 60% designs from them. So that project is advancing to construction sometime in the next couple of years. Our team will be reviewing those design plans as well as the specifications and getting back information to the Corps over the course of the next 3 weeks. In light of the I Street Bridge replacement and the fact that they've now received funding, we have really increased our coordination with the design team of that bridge. There will be concurrent construction going on in that area, and so coordination is going to be critical and necessary to make that happen. Moving downriver a little bit more, in terms of the Stone Locks facility, the Army Corps' agriculture and engineering firm and design team has completed surveying, analyzing the water flows through the locks, as well as geotechnical investigations. 10% design plan is anticipated to be released in January 2026. Going on to some administrative things away from projects. The engineer, I think I reported last month that we were hiring. The engineers that we had made an offer to had declined that offer. However, we are now in the midst of hiring in the hiring process for the flood protection planner, my former position. Those second interviews are scheduled for next week. We're very hopeful. There are 3 very promising candidates that we're hoping to advance. So that's underway. Jen already mentioned $3.8 million cash payments to the Army Corps of Engineers. That is also cost shared with the state, just so that you're aware. So the state was putting up approximately $2 million, 2 million of that, then we're putting up another million and a half. Jen and I will be attending the Flood Management Association meeting and conference the first week in September. And just for your future knowledge, we will be bringing a proclamation for Colonel Chad Caldwell and his service to the district and to the city, and then another for Flood Preparedness Week in October. And that concludes my report.
Do you have any questions? I do have a question. This is the same, last night at City Council, we are also going to do a proclamation.
We're doing it, yes, I'm bringing it to the City
Are we
Council.
doing those together?
One.
We have a City Council proclamation.
Yes, that's the one I'm working on.
That's the one you're working on?
Yeah, I won't
Okay.
be bringing it to this board.
Oh, got it. Okay. Wonderful. Where is the conference?
The conference is in Sacramento.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's really easy.
Okay. I'm just, with everything I want going on at the federal level, will be interesting to hear back what everybody, what conversations look like when you return, or come back to the other side of the river.
Yeah, there's, so two things I think stand out for me right now. The reduction in force is definitely impacting the Army Corps' ability to deliver on all aspects of the project. So one, reach has been essentially shut down for a little while. They've lost technical people, they've lost people throughout. So about 13% of the district's workforce retired, resigned, or moved on somehow. So that's a significant amount. And presently there's a hiring freeze. So that's not helping us to go any quicker in terms of getting these projects in the ground. Secondarily, and I don't think we know the full effects yet, will be some of the changes that are coming into the National Environmental Protection Act. So the Army Corps relies on EPA guidance to conduct their studies, their initial investigations and studies relating to the environment. And some of that law is not as, things are changing. The landscape is not clear to me, so I'm not going to try to pretend that I can give you details about it, but I can tell you that the landscape is changing when it comes to NEPA. It will not have an effect on California's Environmental Quality Act, and we will still be responsible.
With the change in staffing or lack thereof, delays for our projects and our timeline to reach your flood protection by 2043, how are we tracking that and protecting ourselves with things that are out of our control?
So we have every other week we have a project delivery team meeting, and I'm constantly asking them about ways that they might be able to trim time or look at ways to be a little bit more efficient. I've approached leadership within the Corps about having the non-federal sponsor lead some of the segments as a way to kind of supplement. I think the Corps right now is seeing just Jen and I as Wsafca are having some of their own doubts about that, but I have to plan for the future, and that's probably how we'll continue to march on. Related to that will be how are we getting appropriations and doing everything we can to support the Corps and getting a waiver in terms of hiring new personnel.
Okay, that's helpful. Thank you.
I have a quick
Yes,
question.
please.
Paul, you said you rely on certain agencies for information. National Weather, wasn't that?
Yeah, it definitely took a hit in terms of funding and personnel. I don't know if we know the full implications yet of the weather forecasting, but it is a significant thing, especially for Northern California and and us flood agencies who have to deal with looking at what is the forecast in terms of those series of, if there are a series of significant flood event or storm event. Yeah.
Thank you.
And then I have one last question, more of a comment, possibly. Congresswoman Matsui is going to be in town coming up. Do we have a meeting scheduled with her specifically to discuss? Are we on her calendar for Wsafca items?
Not that I'm aware of.
Wondering. Okay, next item on the agenda, 5D, Director's Comment. Trustee Alcala, you have any comments? No comments from me either, and that takes us to our last item, 5E, adjournment. Adjourned at 9:20 a.m. Awesome. Thank you,
Great job.
everyone.
Great job.